What it do, folks? Welcome back into the Tweener Wrestling Podcast, Season 1, Episode 7. Happy Super Bowl Sunday as well. I am dripped out in my Ravens gear, as you can see if you're watching me on YouTube. Today's episode is about All Elite Wrestling. I know, finally, a requested episode. I had to do it. I am going to be discussing some of the best shit I think they got going. But I'm going to also talk about some of the worst shit I think they doing as well. And then I also made a very interesting list of who I think are the future stars of the program. And then I also made the opposite of that as well, of who I think should get fired or ask for their walking papers. So stay tuned for that shit. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to the channel and give me a like as well. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts on, because I'm on everything, go ahead, find wherever you rate the podcast, and give me a nice, friendly rating. All right, let's get into the episode. Let's go. All right, guys, so I jotted some stuff down. Let's dive into it. We're going to start off with talking about the best thing I think AEW has going and also the worst thing. I tried my best. I promise you, I tried my best to write down at least 3 things AEW had good about going for them. And I know some of you guys can, but I couldn't, and I didn't want to force it. So, number one thing, and I think most people would agree with me, is their roster. Their roster. Extremely talented. They got some fucking work horses on their roster that can really go. They made me fall in love with wrestling. I forgot about the wrestling aspect of pro wrestling. WWE had me so captivated by just how good storylines can be that I forgot and I lost interest in the actual in-ring competition. AEW brought that back. The first episode of AEW I watched was Jurassic Express versus Private Party, and I was captivated by the high spots and the athleticism. And those guys can just go. I mean, from, like I said, Private Party, Jurassic Express, who's no longer together. Who else? Darby Allin. He was like the new modern day Jeff Hardy kind of guy to me. That guys was just phenomenal. And I really, really enjoyed AEW when it first launched. I mean, I kind of done fizzled out on it a little bit as far as the wow factor of the in-ring competition. But they did make me realize, dude, this is wrestling. Why are you not watching the wrestling matches? Because I was always, before AEW, I stopped even paying attention to WWE in the ring. I would just read the Bleacher Report on what happened in the match and watch promos, but I could care less. Like, while they were wrestling, that was like bathroom break time to me. So thank you, AEW, for reigniting the true passion for wrestling. The second thing I wrote down that's good about them, and this might seem kind of weird, but I said they're consumer friendly. And what I mean by that, because some people will be like, well, how are they consumer friendly? You got blood, you got thumbtacks, you got bitch, shit, you got all these curse words and stuff like that. I mean, like, from a standpoint of they listen to us. They have their finger on the pulse of the community. And the main reason I think is because of that. The main reason I think that works is because Tony Khan, in my opinion, runs his business from the perception of a fan. Now, that can be a good thing or a bad thing, but like Vince, I feel like when Vince sees Bobby Lashley or he sees Brock Lesnar, Austin Theory, Vince sees a dollar sign. When he sees Almost, he saw a dollar sign, a walking gigantic dollar sign. And I feel like he doesn't see the talent aspect, because if that was the case, he wouldn't say stupid shit like, I don't like Adam Cole because he's too small. That's like stupid as fuck. But Tony, I think when a wrestler becomes available, we'll take Bryan Danielson, for example. I don't think Tony Khan looked at Bryan Danielson and said, oh man, I gotta get this guy because he's gonna make my company millions of dollars with the matches and just having him on my promotion. I don't think Tony thought about that. I think he thought about, oh my God, I'm such a huge fan of Bryan Danielson, We can do a lot of dream matches, and he's great for the company versus just, oh, how much money can he make me? Now, I love that thinking, but I do understand it is a business, so I do understand Vince McMahon's viewpoint as well. But I think that's the best thing that got going. They're very fan friendly. They give a lot of good fan service. So I think that's one of the number one things that got going. Tried to write a third thing down. Couldn't think of anything. Didn't want to force it at all. So if you guys can think of something, let me know in the comments. Because I couldn't think of shit. No, all right. So let's just jump right into the worst things that got going. And of course, I can find all three reasons for that. I wouldn't be surprised if I came up with a fourth reason as I'm looking down at my notes. So just like I was praising how talented the roster is and the workhorses, the shit is bloated as fuck. Bloated. And I can kind of understand why. So he started the business. He signed a bunch of indie guys, and he had to create foundation and stability to show the bigger stars that, like, hey, this company is here to stay, right? So when the bigger stars became available and they were no longer afraid to go to a newer company, I kind of think that's what he was trying to do, or what he had in mind in the future, you know? So like some of the wrestlers like Sonny Kiss or Nyla Rose, I feel like eventually when their contracts expire, he's just going to let them walk. I don't think he is in the business of firing people unless they just do some crazy CM Punk type shit or whatever. I don't know. I think CM Punk's still on the roster, but you get what I'm saying. Unless they do like some crazy shit, like say some homophobic shit, I don't think he's in the business of firing people. I think he'll just let them walk. He'll just let them walk. And then, and I'll say this too, because a lot of people like, they bring up the WCW days and the TNA days when TNA was just signing everybody and spending all their fucking money. Tony Khan, we all know, is a millionaire, right? No, he's a billionaire. I'm sorry. Tony Khan is a billionaire. Tony, I just found out actually last week, AEW's first, I don't know how much their second TV deal is, but their first TV deal was worth $170 million. $170 million. So just look at it from this. Tony Khan already a billionaire, right? So let's just say Tony Khan used his billions out of his own pocket to keep up the production aspect of the show, the traveling shit, and just keep the show running. And let's say he can use the TV deal to sign the athletes, the wrestlers for the program. John Moxley probably getting about, I would say, 5 to 7 million a year. Adam Cole probably like 2 million. Bucks probably get another 4 to 6 million, some shit like that. Jericho probably 3 or 4 million. Like, he can, in my opinion, he can use the TV deal alone to support the roster itself. So like, and then you still generating the money from the gate and shit like that. But the TV deal alone, 170 million. I feel like with 70 million, let's just say 100 million. I feel like with 100 million, you can pay for the roster itself. And the other 70 million, you can put it into the production of the show or the traveling fees or whatever. You can do all that. And that's just the first TV deal. I'm pretty sure the second TV deal gotta be 250 million plus. So just think about it from that, of when people say, oh man, they're going to go bankrupt doing that. I don't agree with the bloated roster, but I really think they have the finances. So people shouldn't really be tripping about it. All right. So that's the first thing. The next thing, and it's kind of really tied into it, so I'm not going to dwell on it too long. You know, just like I said, the roster is so bloated. I also wrote down there's no TV time. You got Dynamite, you got Rampage. I don't know if we need to extend Rampage another hour. Because right now Rampage is only a 1 hour show. And that's extremely short. Comes on directly after SmackDown. So I guess we can extend Rampage another hour. But a lot of people from my point of view, has lost interest in Rampage. I was watching it when it first got there, when it first launched. But I mean, it just seems like AEW just puts more effort into Dynamite, and Rampage is just regulated to the B tier superstars, because you really don't see like the Bucks and Omega them on Rampage. You'll see like a a Swerve Strickland or Keith Lee or like shit. Do you even see like Ricky Starks or MJF on Rampage? I don't think so. But that's my third thing. The next thing, this might ruffle some feathers, but I wrote down their lack to build homegrown superstars. Now, before you guys hang me, I'm gonna say this. Every time somebody say AEW doesn't have any homegrown superstars or they don't have as many, the first two names that people throw out there is MJF and Darby Allin. I'm gonna need y'all to give me some more. Please give me some more, because y'all not doing a good job in defending that argument. I can do it. Like, okay, MJF, Darby Allin, I guess Sammy, but y'all can do more with Sammy, because to me, Sammy was becoming that, like, synonymous, if that's the right word, anonymous. I don't fucking know the word. Y'all know I'm slow. He was intertwined. I can just say that he was intertwined with the TNT Championship. Like him and Darby Allin. When I think of the TNT Championship, I think of Sammy and Darby. I think Darby is a 2-time TNT champion, and I think Sammy is also a 2 or 3-time TNT champion. And to me, it was becoming that Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart type of feel. And I feel like that's something they could have really played on. But I feel like Sammy should be higher than where he is. Not world title picture, but just higher than where he is. But you got Sammy, you got Darby, you got MJF, you got Warlow, you got I'm trying to think of some tag teams. It's homegrown tag teams. Cause Penta and Ray and Penta was like Lucha and Impact Wrestling. Like I saw them on that first. So they're not really homegrown. The Bucks aren't homegrown. Kenny isn't homegrown. Homegrown, my definition is the mass consumer didn't see them or know of them really until they appeared on All Elite Wrestling. Like that's my definition of homegrown. And I really just don't see it. I mean, people say Ricky Starks, that's kind of a lightning in a bottle situation. And I like Ricky Starks, but I feel like the crowd going to eventually turn on him just because you're too much like The Rock. Like you can have a Rock vibe to you, but you're too much like The Rock. And I feel like I just peeked my mic saying that. But you're too much like The Rock, sir. Like, I feel like when he's cutting promos, his mannerism, his delivery, I feel like in his head, he has an image of The Rock as he's cutting a promo. And I feel like eventually, it's going to fizzle out. Eventually. But I just feel like for instance, I would take Jungle Boy Jack Perry. And I like that they just stopped calling him Jungle Boy and they just put the Jack Perry on it. I would take Jungle Boy Jack Perry, make him this massive heel. Cute guy. He's kind of small, but I don't give a fuck because I'm like 5'4". Cute guy. Young, so he can be around for a long time. Pause on the cute part, but I'm just saying. He can carry the company for a minute, and he would just generate massive heat. Just make him this cocky asshole, like fuck everybody, fuck his friends, fuck the fans, type of heel, and just have him go, like just have him go with it. And insert him in the TNT picture. I would have Darby Allin have the title, and then Jungle Boy Jack Perry goes after the TNT Championship, because I don't think he's AEW World Championship tier, but I think he would be a great TNT champion. And you can give him a trial run with the All Atlantic Championship. I think Orange Cassidy has that, but I look at AEW champion, TNT champion, All Atlantic champion, and then everything else is just whatever. But yeah, I just think they need to focus heavily on building homegrown talent more, because they got some, but we need more. I'm ready to see the AEW guys go on Jimmy Fallon and Cohen and all these talk shows like the WWE superstars are doing. Good Morning America. Like, I'm ready to see that with AEW, and I'm trying to think of stars who could do that, because like MJF, Ricky Starks, even though I just kind of shitted on him a little bit, Ricky Starks, and so on. And then what else did I write? Let's see. Blow the roster, no TV time, failure for home. Oh, and last but not least, worst thing I said about AEW, lack of build-ups. And I'll really quickly breeze through this. Lack of build-ups. Perfect example. Bryan Danielson. He every week just seems to wrestle random guys. Yes, I know he's kind of somewhat feuding with MJF. But it's like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, he's just wrestling these random guys, and I guess MJF is trying to take him through the ringer with it. Like, I don't freaking know. It's just weird to me. I don't feel like they're building that rivalry properly. And another example, Darby Allin, Samoa Joe, I'm sorry. Samoa Joe and Darby Allin. When Samoa Joe took the title from Darby Allin, not recently, but the first time, it kind of came out of nowhere. Like, Samoa Joe was wrestling random people every title defense with no build-up, no storyline. It wasn't at least a TNT Open Challenge storyline. It was nothing. He was wrestling these random guys. Darby Allin won, and when he won, it wasn't heavily promoted. It wasn't like, oh, Darby finally won. Like, he just won and it just came out of nowhere. And it's like, okay. Like, I feel like they could have built that up more for him to recapture his TNT title. They could have built that up more. And then when Samoa Joe took it back, because I believe Samoa Joe is the champion again now, it was like random. Like, it wasn't a strong build up. Like, Samoa Joe took it back. And then I want to say Samoa Joe and Wardlow is now engulfed into a rivalry with the TNT championship. Like, it just, where is the build up and then the payoff? Like, it's like no build ups. Only type of build ups they do is when it's surrounding the world title, but everything else is like just blah. Like, people just lose their titles randomly with no type of hype or nothing behind it. So I think they can increase the prestige of the titles by doing build ups, but I don't know what the fuck going on. You watch WWE for the storytelling, you watch AEW for the wrestling. That's the best way I can put it. But let's move on to what I think might really ruffle some feathers and what I think is the juicy portion of this episode. We're going to talk about who I think is the future of the company. And then also we're going to talk about who I think, who I think should get fired or just ask for their walking papers. Right, now we in the thick of it. Now we are on the part that I couldn't wait to get to. I wrote down this list maybe about a week ago and I just couldn't wait to record it. So we're going to start off with who I think is the future of AEW. Now, I pick a lot of young guys. So when I say future, I don't mean guys that's going to take off this year. Because I think this year is pretty much just Bryan Danielson, MJF, and Adam Cole. So I'm talking about like 2024-25-ish type guys. All right. So a lot of the guys I got on this list is 30 and under. So let's get into this. All right. So, I got one guy that's over 30 though. Number one, I don't think he's going to stay with the company very long for some reason, because he's more of a WWE prototype type of guy. But Wardlow, of course. Wardlow. I think that if Wardlow stays with the company for at least another 3 to 4 years, Wardlow would be an AEW champion. Now, I would prefer Wardlow to take the title off his former boss, MJF, sometime next year. But it's whatever. Like, Wardlow just got the total package for me. Like, I love Wardlow. He's not really hot on the mic, good with the promos. So I don't know if you need to pair him with a talker. But Wardlow, I fucks with him. Wardlow, he's 35 years old, if I didn't already say that, because I wrote down the ages by the name as well. Number two is Sammy Guevara, whatever his name is. The kid, he's 29 years old. He has that, I don't know, I'm trying to think of somebody to compare him to, but I really can't. He has I don't want to say Eddie Guerrero just because he's Hispanic, but he has that Eddie Guerrero-esque heat generating, he got that heel shit, that arrogant, I'm the coolest kid in the class. Me and Tay Mello, like we're the two popular, pretty people, and like everybody is gonna hate on us, and you're just mad because you're not me type of attitude. Like he just has it. He has it. I like his in-ring ability. He botches sometimes. He can get a little sloppy on his hot spots, but I really like Sammy. He can talk. He has the look. He has the girl. He has it. Like Sammy has it. Age of 29, Sammy has it. I think he's a great guy for AEW. Number 3, Darby Allin. Of course, I don't really have to say much about him. A lot of Jeff Hardy comparisons. And I just think he has a huge following. I think people in WWE fuck with Darby Allin. People in AEW fuck with Darby Allin. He just has a mass appeal. He used to actually be, I want to say he was in one of WWE's developmental shows. One of they, not NXT, but like something smaller. I forgot what that shit was called. I looked it up like months ago. I forgot what it was called. But I remember reading this on Darby Allin. He was signed to one of WWE like smaller, like a LCW, but it wasn't LCW. And he never won a match under a WWE developmental contract. Never won a match. He got to AEW, skyrocketed. So I fuck with Darby Allin. Age 30. All right. Keep this guy. Number 4. And this is going to be just out of nowhere. I think AEW had something and they just dropped the ball on it with Brian Pillman Jr. Brian Pillman Jr. I wasn't a fan of his dad. But to me, he has a better, like he deserves so much more than to be in that. I think it's called the Varsity Blondes. He can do more. I think if you make him similar to his dad, and then you introduce I would introduce like a hardcore type of championship to AEW. I know the people that say they got too many belts already, but anyway, if you introduce some type of hardcore style championship title to AEW and you wrap it around Brian Pillman Jr., I really think that guy has something. I don't know what the fuck it is. He's only 29 years old. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's something about him that I just see more star potential than how they're using him. So I would make him a future star. Let me see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 5 is Hook. Hook has kind of fizzled down, but months ago, Hook was red fucking hot. Hook is the youngest person on my list at the age of 23. Don't have to say much about him. They say he the son of Taz, and I Google that shit all the fucking time because I just don't see it. When you look at Taz and you look at Hook, I don't see it, but whatever. But I don't see it at all. So I don't know the story on that, but I'm interested. For anybody that might know the story on the Hook and Taz father-son relation, please explain it in the comments. Please explain it in the comments, please. But Hook definitely has it. Get that FTW title away from him because that title doesn't mean anything, but they can actually make that a hardcore type of championship title. It's called FTW, fuck the world. So I mean, like, come on, bro. Like, you can make that a hardcore style title. I mean, I don't know, but if you're not gonna do anything with it, get it away from him and have him win the All Atlantic Championship and stop having him flip. What is his name? The big guy from Enzo and Kaz. It's not Big Kaz. What the fuck is his name? Oh my God, it's like a regular name, but I can't remember his name. I don't know. But you guys know what I'm talking about. Stop having him flip big guys like that because that's too unbelievable. Give him the All Atlantic Championship. I would like to see him go into a rivalry with... Let's see. Give me somebody. Hook and... I'm running through the roster in my head. My mind is saying Pac, but no. Then my mind said just give him somebody. I don't know. I can't think of anybody. But have him win the All Atlantic Championship. Push Hook. The boy has everything. He looks like Tom Holland as well, the kid that plays Spider-Man to me. Last but not least, I don't know much about this guy, but when people got the it factor, they got the it factor. Action Arjunity. if I'm saying it correctly, age 25. Only seen this guy work like once or twice against Jericho. The guy clearly has it. AEW kind of dropping the ball on him as well, because that was a extremely strong potential to catch lightning in a bottle with Action Arginetti. Arginetti, I think that's how you say his name. They had lightning in a bottle. With that first win over Jericho, and the internet, social media blew up. The guy was trending. You guys could have got some cool shirts printed up. Could have been a Arginetti Mania-esque type feel. But he's definitely the future of the company, and I really like him, and I hope that AEW eventually gets some sort of structured storytelling to help build these guys like they need to be built. All right, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys who I think are the future, and I'll also be doing the women's as well. But let me go into the men's on who I think should leave, ask for their walking papers, or Tony Khan should just fire their ass and let them be free. Number 1, bro, Brian Cage. I remember first watching AEW, and Brian Cage came in. I want to say he won that casino battle royal thingy, whatever. Didn't translate into any fucking thing. But I thought when Brian Cage first made his AEW appearance, I thought that was a huge signing. And now, a couple years later, I'm like, bro, you should just went to WWE. You look like a WWE guy. I feel like you probably would have flopped in WWE too, but you look more of a WWE guy. And you just horrible, bro. Like, I don't know if they need to pair this guy with a man. Like, I think he's a part of the firm or some stable with a manager, but he needs to be paired solo with the manager. Don't talk, just destroy. Honestly, he just needs to. He needs to ask for. He should have been asked for his walking papers. I don't know. Is it because he's older and he was so accomplished in Impact Wrestling, being the champion and all. So maybe he won so much gold over there that he doesn't give a fuck about winning gold in AEW. I know he's a Ring of Honor champion. I'm not sure what title he has, but in my personal opinion, I fucks with Ring of Honor, but having the Ring of all these Ring of Honor titles inserted into AEW programming doesn't feel like they're true champions. It just doesn't feel like it. But anyway, number 2, who should ask for their walking papers? Lance Archer. Lance Archer hasn't been relevant since I think he had a rivalry with Cody. When it was Cody, yeah, he hasn't been relevant since then. Point blank, period. Let's move on. No one cares about Lance Archer. Number 3, Kip Sabian. When I first saw Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, I was like, they have the it factor. Once again, it's the it factor. Some people just got it. But I just don't think that AEW, with their lack of structured storytelling, they haven't been able to get off on Kip Sabian and Penelope Ford, who could have been. Now I think it's more like Sammy and Tay Mello, but they could have been what the Miz and Mauritius to WWE. Kip Sabian and Penelope, who is hot. Kip Sabian and Penelope could have been what the Miz and Mauritius to WWE. They could have been that for AEW. So I think Kip Sabian should ask for his walking papers and he should leave. And I think that Kip Sabian, I'm not sure how old he is. Let me Google it right quick. Because I want to say, I think Kip Sabian should go to NXT first and then go to the main roster. Let me see how old he is. I'm not sure if he's young enough to get down with those NXT guys. I doubt it. If I had to guess, he's probably like a 31. If I had to guess, Kip Sabian, he's 30. So he might be young enough. Yeah, young enough. Because 30 is still kind of young in wrestling years. So I would have Kip Sabian go to NXT for a year. Have him... No, 2 years. No, a year. Have him go to NXT for a year. Him and Penelope. Have him win the NXT champion. Just think about this. Kip Sabian as a heel with Penelope against Braun Breaker would be a very great rivalry. I think that would be golden. Yeah, I think that's what he should do. And then last but not least, on who I think should walk on the men's side is Andrade. Now, I think it's a wrap for Andrade. He ain't being used probably in AEW. I thought he would have been a champion by now. The AEW World Champion. I think he's that fucking good. Andrade, bro, just go. And most people like go back to WWE so you can be with your wife Charlotte. But I think even if he went to WWE, I think he would be lost in the shuffle again. Like, I really liked him coming out of NXT. I don't know what happened. It's like people don't believe in him. I just don't know what happened. Now me personally, like, he can go back to WWE, but I've kind of replaced him already with Santos Escobar. Like, to me, I like him more than I like Andrade now. So, but just go, bro. Just go. All right. Going on to the women's side of it, on who I think should be, or who I think is the future. And did I write down their ages? Yeah, I got their ages down. I don't know why I didn't write down the ages for the people who should walk. I guess it don't matter. So, I got 1, 2, 3, 4 women. And the last woman I have on this list, y'all gonna be like, what the fuck? So, number 1, Jamie Hayter. I'm starting to pay more attention to her. I did not at first until she inserted herself in the world title picture. And now I'm paying a little bit more attention to her. I think she has the it factor as well. And I like her because she's not a WWE person. I like her a lot. I'm really big on AEW just finding their own people and building their own people. So I really fuck with her. She's only 27 years old. Now, the difference between the women's and the men's list, these women are like really young. So they have the potential to really grow with the company. And hopefully, I'm assuming if AEW lasts long enough to get a Hall of Fame ceremony, like, she can be that type of star. Number 2, Chris Statlander. Is it Statlander? Statlander. I don't fucking know. But y'all know who I'm talking about. With her, I'm like, she kind of like Sarah Logan almost. But, and I hate comparing these people to WWE counterparts. But WWE, that's top notch. So I'm just saying. Chris whatever the fuck her name is. She cool. I don't see her as like, AEW Hall of Fame material or AEW, a great AEW women's champion in the future. Like, I don't see her as that, but I see her as a main fixture. Like, I see her being a part of that division and being respected in that division for a long time. Kind of like how when you think of Natalya, you don't think of, oh my God, Natalya is just one of the greatest WWE women's champions of all time. You don't think about that when you think about Natalya. You think about her in-ring ability, her ability to work with anybody in the on the roster, and just her ability to always be professional. That's kind of what I think about when I think about Chris. Like, she just has that ability to just be a solid, good wrestler. And I think that that's good. You know, everybody can't be a mega star or a champion, but she's definitely a great wrestler. And I think they should keep her, like I said, 27 years old. Tay Mello, number 3. A lot of people are disliking Tay Mello. But she is my second favorite star next to Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is not on this list. And I'll say this as well. For the people that's like, how can you write future stars and not include MJF? I'm not talking about people that's already established. I'm talking about people that needs to get that extra to them and to get over that heel. You know, people like that. So when I say Jamie Hayter, yes, she's somewhat already established, but she's new to the title picture, and I think she has a lot more growing to do. And Chris and Tay Mello, I think Tay Mello has that it factor. You guys are going to hear me say that a lot, but that it factor is what makes you a superstar. Tay Mello has it, and not only is she extremely attractive and she's halfway decent in the ring, she loves to get hardcore, and you don't really see that with most women in the business. Like, she loves to get hardcore. So I like that about Tay Mello. I'm really not too familiar with her promo skills, but she has it. She just has that total package. She's married to Sammy. Sammy is one of the future stars as well. So Tay Mello, she got it. The last person who I think should develop more is probably the youngest. And if I didn't say Tay Melo 27, the last person is probably the youngest person in the company. Hook was 23. This person is 21 years old. And I think if developed the right way, she can get up there too. I don't know. I've never seen this girl wrestle. But when I see her, I see something in her. So I think she needs to develop more. Julia Hart. Julia Hart. Yes, I said Julia Hart. Now, she is so unappreciated and underdeveloped that when I Googled every single person, men and women, when I Googled every fucking body, everybody had a Wikipedia. Julia Hart does not have a Wikipedia. I don't know how people create it, but we need to get this girl a Wikipedia. It took me so long to find out how old this girl was. She does not have a Wikipedia, and I was just blown away that I couldn't find out. Like, I had to Google the House of Black members just to find Julia Hart. I had to Google the House of Black. I couldn't just Google Julia Hart. And that's crazy. But Julia Hart, put some more respect on her. I think she has great storytelling ability. She can sell well. She's a great entertainer. I don't know how she is in the ring, though. But she's a great entertainer, and that's a good thing. Let's start with that. And I think they need to develop her more, because I think she has it as well. And that is it for the future of the women's division. Now, who I think should get fired? I got 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to start off with the obvious choice, because she's tied to one of the men that I said should leave, is Penelope Ford. And I really don't need to talk about that, because I kind of put everything into the Kip Sabian. They're tied together. Miz and Maurice type of deal. Have them go to NXT, feud with Braun, win the title, have them run with the title for about 6 months. He'll be a really good NXT champion. I like them as a pair. Penelope Ford, Kip Sabian, get out of here. Fired or just asked to leave. Number 2 is Red Velvet. Red Velvet, I don't think is one of Jade Cargill's flunkies anymore, but she's just boring. She's just boring. She's just a boring character. She's just boring. She's not AEW material. She can be a jobber. If she doesn't mind being a jobber for years, she can stay there. But to me, if she want to do anything with her wrestling career, I think she should go to like Impact, or that's it. That's really it. And then number 3 is Riho or Rio. Is it Rio? I think it's Rio. I ain't gonna lie. I think she was the first. I'm pretty sure she was the first AEW women's champion. So she laid the foundation for that women's division. But that women's division has improved so freaking much. And she has just got completely lost in the shuffle. Now, sometimes I'll see her come out, and because the crowd because we go so long without seeing her, she gets somewhat of a pop, but no one is begging for Rio to come back. No one's saying, oh my God, I want to see a Rio versus Britt Baker, or I want to see a Rio versus Saraya. No one's saying that. So Rio, go back to New Japan. Sorry, I had to take a drink. Go back to New Japan, or take a shot at something else. Don't go to WWE, because she's definitely not a WWE person. But Rio, I think it's time for Rio to go. Thank you for everything you've done for the women's division. Thank you for establishing it. But now you crawled so everyone could walk and run. All right. Next, and I really hated to say this, but I just think this person is getting lost, similar to Riho. I'm gonna say this name wrong. Hikaru Shida, I think, or Shida, because I think I remember the commentary or someone saying holy Shida. But I think that she's cool as fuck to me, and I love her. She's so cool, but I think the direction that the women's division is going in now, with Jade, with Britt, with Saraya, or with Toni Storm, who I dislike Toni Storm, but with Saraya, with Toni Storm, with I think women like Shida, Riho, Nyla Rose, Thunder Rosa, even though I would love Thunder to stay. I just think the division is outgrowing them. If anybody should stay, it should be Thunder. That's why Thunder Rosa is not on my list. But if anybody should stay, it should be Thunder. But the rest of them, I think it's time for them to go. And that's it. That's it. Let me know who you guys think should stay or who you guys think is the future. Let me know who you guys think that I should take off this list on whatever. Just let me know. All right, everybody, we have made it to the very end of the episode, and I want to thank every individual for tuning in. If you're watching on YouTube, like I said, go ahead and subscribe, hit that thumb. And then if you're listening on whatever podcast service you got, there should be a rating section somewhere, and I would greatly appreciate it if you guys gave my podcast a rating and a review. Real quick before I head out, I just want to say the format of the show kind of changing slightly as we kind of head towards the end of season 1. As you guys can see, I cut the music out just because I feel like, just because I'm a hip hop fan, people might not want to always hear hip hop music in the background. So I did cut the music out. I'm working on getting a professional style intro and outro. That'll be premiering on season 2. We're going to do more guest appearances going forward as well. And the episodes are going to become a lot shorter. I know sometimes I have dropped 35-minute episodes, 40-minute episodes. This might be like a 25 to 30-minute episode. But going forward, the episodes are going to pretty much be like 13 to 20 minutes a piece. Try not to surpass that 25-minute mark. Just so you guys can consume it a lot quicker. And you guys don't hear me ramble all the time as well, too. So that is the way the show is going to change going forward. This is a wrap for episode 7. Episode 8 is most likely going to be an episode that I just want to do so bad, which is a Montez Ford Appreciation Day type episode. So I'm working on that right now. Man, shine some light on my brother for real, bro. Shine some light on my guy Montez Ford. Episode 8 coming soon. Montez Ford, like I said, it's Super Bowl Sunday. This week, I'm going to be pumping out 3 new episodes this week. Episode 7 is a wrap. Episode 8, Montez Ford Appreciation. Episode 9 is probably going to be an NXT episode. Episode 10, the 10th celebration. We are going to do a straight game show style episode for episode 10. All right. So thank you guys once again for listening, and I am out. Thank you guys.